Robo Warrior was a video game made in 1987 by Jaleco for the NES, the Japanese leisure company for the original Nintendo Entertainment System. It has a very good soundtrack. Albeit 8-bit, it is very, very good music. Robo Warrior, known in Japan as Bomber King, is an English-language action puzzle video game developed by AI.com and published by Hudson Soft in Japan and Jaleco in the US and Europe. War, overpopulation, and pollution have plagued Earth, so humanity decides to construct an artificial planet known as Altile and move there. Unfortunately, Altile gets invaded by the evil Xanthro Empire, who deactivate the planet's weather control machine and turn it into a barren wasteland. The people of Altile seek help from Earth and call upon the Z-type Earth defense cyborg Zed. In order to save the planet from destruction, you essentially have to save the environment by blowing up all the trees. Like, you play this game, and the most dangerous thing in the game is you. All the enemies just sort of stun lock you into your own bombs. Zed starts out with 2 weapons to use against the Xanthro Empire: a weak standard ray gun and extremely powerful exploding bombs. He can get more power-ups as he destroys enemies and blocks, as well as finding hidden areas to obtain some of the rarer power-ups. Even with a large assortment of weapons, this game is still notorious for its hard difficulty and the fact that there's no save function. And technically you have infinite continues, but every time you die it halves all your resources, and then eventually you can't continue because you don't have the stuff you need to do anything. It's a good game though. But there's a lot of things to the game that you definitely need the manual for. A sequel, Bomber King Scenario 2, was developed by Sunsoft the Game Boy, but was released in Europe as Blaster Master Jr. and in North America as Blaster Master Boy. Airborne Mook. The flying enemies in the game are a huge pain in the rear as they shoot aimed shots that pass through walls, and some travel in waving pattern, making it easy for them to collide into you. Alien Invasion, the plot of the story. Blackout Basement. The dungeon areas, as well as some of the normal stages. You'll be able to see only enemies in order to see around you. You have to use a candle, lights up a small area or a short time, or a lamp lights up the whole screen indefinitely. Blob Monster. Globula, the first boss. The big bad is a giant floating cyborg head. Classical elements ensemble. The last 4 bosses before the final boss are based on water, Aquarian, a piranha spawning machine, wind, Lane, a 2-headed winged lion, fire, Friardine, a fire bird spewing machine, and earth, Golem. Okay. The piranha spewing machine, if I remember, it looks more like an orca. That gives me an idea for future videos. Critical annoyance. When you're down to 1 battery of energy left, the background music changes into an ominous sounding warning tone. Dolled up installment. The sequel is titled Blast Master Boy Outside Japan. Emergency energy tank. These refill you back to maximum health. The fact that you pick up lots of them shows you the game's difficulty. Explosive stupidity. Getting caught in your own bomb blast is enough to drain 2 batteries of your energy. Gaia's Lament. In the first level, the destructible blocks are trees. And since the aim of the game is to destroy blocks and find power-ups and ultimately the key to the exit, you'll find yourself laying waste the majority of the forest with your bombs, leaving behind infinitely respawning baddies. Guided game to Bomberman. Made by the same company. Its Japanese name is actually called Bomber King. Golem the second to last boss. He throws rocks at you. Gratuitous English. The Japanese version features an unlockable karaoke sing-along for the main level theme. That's neat. The lyrics are written in Japanese except for Go for Breakout. Go for Breakout. God dang it. Want to find out where all the hidden stone lion rooms and fountains are? Good luck without a guide. Heck, there are some sections of the game that seem like dead ends and you have to bomb a certain block 3 times in order to get out. Also, there's a thing about the sleighs. It's a thing that looks like a crown jewels or a royal king crown. And it's in 1/3 of the levels, including the very first level. And if you don't get it, the level just loops indefinitely forever. But on each loop, you have another opportunity to find it. Hope sprouts eternal. The ending of the game shows the climate changing back to normal and the barren land turns back to green in a matter of seconds. Multiple head case. The two-headed chimera boss, dragon boss, Lian is like this. One-hit poly kill. Missiles destroy all enemies and blocks in a straight line. Recurring boss template. 3 of the bosses have the exact same strategy. They float around the place, throw globs at you, around you, and those globs turn into mooks that should they hit the floor. And yes, the final boss is one of them. Regenerating health. Inverted. Your character is a robot who needs to constantly fuel himself, and as such loses health constantly, as if the demonic spiders and goddamn bats weren't enough. Segmented serpent. One of those, like, this, like, there's like 2 main designs for those spiders. One of them looks like a metal tarantula. The other one looks like a wheel for a captain's ship. Oh, that gives me an idea. I don't know if TV Tropes would have a thing about that. The Santa Maria. Segmented serpent. The second boss, Verpites, is a dragon that comes out from a well. Attack its head to defeat it. Smart bomb, 2 kinds. The flash destroys all weak enemies on screen, while much rare Megatron bomb does the same, except it does a huge amount of damage to bosses, destroying all destructible blocks on the screen. Sprint shoes. The shoes power up, which let you walk faster, period time of use. Super drowning skills. Stay in the water for 2 or more seconds and you sink. Instant game over. If it happens, to solve this, use a life ring before going into the water. Oh, and the enemies have no such problems in the water. Throw down the bomblet. One of your attacks, capable of destroying enemies easily. Weather control machine, deactivated by evil aliens, causing outside to plunge into chaos. Where is the arrow? I'm just gonna like put a link in the description because I just remember that being cool. Hold up. It's a good game. Also has a great soundtrack. Dragon Spirit: The New Legend, also made in 1986. Bandai Namco, NES. Okay. Vector Man 2. Vector Man 2 is the sequel to the Vector Man, which is also a run-and-gun game developed by Blue Sky Software and published by Sega for the Sega Genesis in 1996. Taking place after the first game, after Vector defeated Warhead and put an end to his tyranny, it immediately resumes his sludge cleaning duties while on a routine garbage run. His barge is shot down by a mysterious missile. Evacuating the barge and descending down to the surface, he finds himself on the outskirts of a seemingly abandoned research facility overrun by a horde of mutant insects. With unpleasant designs on the planet, Vector Man must find the intelligence controlling them and kill to save the Earth yet again. A third game for the PlayStation 2 was planned, but was ultimately cancelled. Since then, Vector Man's only appearance have been in various Genesis Mega Drive compilations and, of all places, unlockable character in the mobile port of the House of the Dead Overkill. Hmm. Damn, only 15 minutes left, and now they have to respawn. We're never going to get to the flutter kick. Swimming isn't easy to animate in video games. First of all, there's the complexity of underwater effects. Then there's the freedom of movement in 3 dimensions, which is neat for the player, but a real pain to achieve in third-person games in terms of achieving intuitive interface in a fluid camera. Then there's the problem of the water meeting land. It's easy enough to have your character jump or fall into the water, but to get them out again, you need ladders, shore, so far. So you're going to have to do your art direction and that in mind, and even slightly realistic, you had anything about a character's oxygen supplies. Basically, having your character be able to swim means adding an entirely new form of gameplay that's usually boring, annoying, and nowhere near worth it. The most common solution is to have no water, at least nothing more than ankle deep. But since our world's full of this stuff, another very popular solution is to declare that lead character of the game, no matter how athletic, trained, or superpowered may be, is just that, lead. Lead, lead, ha 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 ha. They cannot swim at all, not even enough to thrash around a bit. They just sink like a stone or are helplessly swept away by strong currents. Wasn't like Sonic the Hedgehog like that in like all the DX and '06 games? On a futuristic Earth, a similar location, plants, animals, and naturally clean water are things of the past. Something terrible has happened. Civilization, negligence of the environment, strange natural disaster, or even a combination of both turned the world into a wasteland. Explosive stupidity. Don't bring grenades into small rooms. When a character manages to unintentionally blow themselves up with the explosives that they are carrying, the character can either be mishandling unstable explosives or they can be a failed suicide bomber. No matter the case, the explosion is usually caused by their own stupidity, making this a case of too dumb to live and often an epic fail. Critical annoyance. Beep, 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 beep. Now might be a good time to heal. Red Warrior is about to die. Damn it, I know! For the proper experience, run the music from this video while reading this page. Red alert, life meter is almost enemy, critical existence failure imminent, heal thyself and this warning will go away. In games where the player's character have hit points or some other measure of health, it's not uncommon for the game to warn the player that their health is low. After all, if their life meter depletes, it's game over and the resulting consequences can be anywhere from a minor headache to a rage quit inducing catastrophe. However, while making a warning sound like a beep can definitely be effective in alerting the player to the condition, playing said sound over and over again is pretty much guaranteed to get a play on the player's nerves. This warning is ubiquitous in games with hit points or life meter. It becomes so annoying that the player is less likely to play carefully when the health runs low. On the other hand, when a game does avert it and you end up dying because you didn't notice your health was low, you may start to miss it. Hmm. Brave Fencer Musashi. Probably the loosest interpretation ever of the legendary antics of the Japanese swordsman Miyamoto Musashi, Squaresoft's 1998 Brave Fencer Musashi Japanese Brave Fencer Musashi-den, literally Brave Fencer Musashi, the Legend of Musashi, for the original PlayStation shrinks the wandering samurai to fun size, transports him into a fantasy world full of woolseyisms. Huh, kind of like an isekai thing. Or a summoning or whatever. I don't know, I don't care. And sets him off on a quest to save the besieged all-you-can-eat kingdom by unsealing the Lumina, the Sword of Luminescence, reabsorbing its scattered powers from within the 5 scrolls, and collecting action figures of the friends and foes he meets during his exploits. We mean bashing in the heads of the Thirst Quencher Empire's goons until they learn not to underestimate him for being short. Samurai Legend is a follow-up for the PS2. 100% completion earned by beating the game after finding all 13 Minkyus, rescuing every villager on the list, therefore breaking all the Benjo fields and collecting all the game's action figures, including the special series. You'll be treated to a congratulatory picture with the message, "Perfect." For playing the... Thank you for playing. You can't quite see the picture entirely. I said I was going to put something in the link in the description. I'll put this in link description too. But I can't remember. What was I going to link? I was going to put something in the description. I don't remember. Anyway, this is... In a world covered by endless water. Mega Man Legends series was Capcom's first attempt to take the Mega Man franchise into 3D. It's also one of the best game ever. Also known as Rockman Dash, Dash being acronym for Digitor's adventure story in Halcyon Days. The storyline revolves around Mega Man Volnut and his friends, surrogate family Roll and Barrel Casca, a team of diggers, exploring the ruins left by the precursors, searching for energy-generating refractors. You know what? We can also go to Random Media, Ghost Runner, The Book of Pooh, Stealing Heaven, Benjamin Byron Davis, Booster Gold, Witchcraft, Witch Watch, ongoing comedy slice of life, manga series written by fantasy-themed engine-building Euro game. Is this a hentai game? Tired of your current job? Are you missing the thrill that made you truly appreciate life? The Diamond Straits is just what you've been looking for. I feel like this is a video game I can't do a let's play of. Damn it. Oh. I was uncomfortable and moved slightly and knocked over my carbonated water. Fuck. Bad Endings is a webcomic created by... The comic is an anthology dedicated to anime manga, more specifically making bad things out of common tropes in anime and manga, such as tsundere and the harem genre. Would anyone want me to come back to this particular trope to read about? Huh. Ted Woolsey was the primary translator for most of Squaresoft Super Nintendo's RPGs, 91-96. Polarizing figure. To some, Woolsey was an iron-fisted dictator who was convinced that American gamers were morons. They couldn't accept a culture besides their own. Woolsey was hard-pressed and nonetheless creative artisan who was, Spyro the Dragon, the artisan worlds. Primary reason these games were rendered incomprehensible Westerners and translated literally with little regard, accuracy, comprehensibility. Completely remodeled to suit the audience or worse. Either way, Woolsey's impact that keenly felt he frequently modified the scripts he was handed in order to render them to more accessible American release. Fans coined the term Woolsey and referred to places where Woolsey had obviously been tinkering with the original Japanese script. When Bandai began releasing action figures in the series, they romanized the name of Goku of Vegeta's alien race, Saiyajin, person, people of Saiyan, into Saiyan. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Saiyan sounds cooler. Probably more I'm more used to. Package figure. The term would later be used in English adaptations. European Portuguese dub. Fat Boo did debut mishears it. Super Saiyajin. I thought that was more of a reference. Oh yeah, hell to Hiffle. Random trope. That was an awesome movie. So is Pokemon 2000 with Lugia. I know we're talking about a pistol technique, but that is not what I'm looking at. Another thing is this. I feel like a lot of tropes, it's some of the things are like, okay, we're doing things that reflect reality in literature. But sometimes I feel things in literature are so widespread, like whether it's an anime, movies, TV shows, that people in real life, that even if the mannerism being shown, like even if the trope in particular being shown isn't a normal part of IRL life, I feel like if either an individual is too immersed into otaku, weeaboo, hikikomori life, or if a certain trope is just widespread that all the normies are into it, I feel that certain tropes that would normally not, like certain interactions, like or sayings that you wouldn't expect to be normal for like everyone to be saying, that if it's proliferated enough in the media, everyone's going to start doing it in real life. Either they're going to be copying it jokingly, or you're going to see a certain type of reaction people have in an anime or a video game or a TV show or media. And people are going to unironically think that's normal and that's how people have always been. Like the idea of people falling over, they're surprised in an anime. Like, you know, in anime, someone's shocked or something that like they'll fall over as a gag. Imagine if enough people saw that and they start to think, hey, when you're shocked like that, you're supposed to purposely fall over. Could you imagine if that was just the norm in reality? Or like imagine if like any of these tropes that exist on TV tropes, which there's probably a million of them. Imagine if you could pick any one of them that you think does not apply to real life and you can make it apply to real life. Brave Fencer Musashi. Take a good look at the polygons. Spiteful AI. Rage Helm. we'll go and call that. But yeah, like I said, I can just, in the future, we can like do this. Like, oh, well, I can click a random trope or a random media, and then we can read about it, and then we can read through all the different, if it's a media, it's all the different, so if it's a media, it's all the different tropes in the media. If it's a trope, it's all the medias it's used in. Okay, it's a long video. Bye.